Shalom, first and foremost, like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakadash. Double honor to the and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching us truth and sincerity. And shout out to Yakims out there in the four corners of the earth proclaim this truth. Brakah the Yahweh, Brakah the Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakadash, Brakatem. So, getting to the original prophecy, right? 2 nations shall be in the womb, and 1 nation shall be stronger than the other, as this brother's breaking it down. So, I'm going to get into this and get into these geoengineering fires that's going on, especially in Spokane, the Smart Cities Network. Just all of it in place, and it's no coincidence that, structures are burned down, but the trees are still in place, just like with Carr Fire. Can't reiterate that enough, because I'm a survivor of the Carr Fire, which is just a few blocks from where I lived, and I could have been evacuated easily, but I was close to getting evacuated, but nonetheless, though, the official stories never added up, but direct energy weapons is what would later learn about it. Anyhow, getting back to the original story, right? 2 nations shall be in the womb, 1 shall be stronger than the other, and that is the kingdom of heaven, Israel, And Edom is at the very end. The second leg of Edom is at the very end, as this goes into.
Shalom, calling Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, 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 Daman, so Apostle Great Millstone, so I want to hope for legends, where you call from Gmail's Cleveland account. So we're with an edifying lesson, real quick. To the point, this is going to be entitled, 1 nation shall be stronger than the other, okay? This is Genesis 25 and verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord, okay, Yahweh for his wife, because she was barren. And Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Read verse 23 in NLT. And Yahweh told her, the sons in your womb will become 2 nations. From the very beginning, the 2 nations will be rivals. 1 nation will be stronger than the other, and your older son will serve your younger son. Okay? And we know, of course, you read it, but Esau came out first, and Jacob came after. And Jacob is what? You do the descendants of Jacob, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, are you so-called blacks and Native Americans today. Okay? You are the descendants of Jacob. Okay? It was like men, you're the sons of God. And the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Esau is the so-called white man today. So let's play this clip. You or tear gas him. What is wrong? Anyway, everybody. That shit, Jake gone, bro. Now that's a perfect example on one nation showing the other. And I saw that I laughed because brother always bring this example. That's why when JB get pulled over against the type of situation with the police, you'll see that call fucking 6 cop cars. They got hella officers there to deal with just one son of God, man. Okay, whether they want to acknowledge the son of God or not, we know the truth, and very soon the whole world will be forced to bow down and acknowledge the truth. Where Yahweh Shai gets here, man, because Yahweh Shai, who calls Jesus Christ the Messiah, the so-called black man, he's very, very displeased on how all the heathen nations, from the so-called white man on down, the so-called Arab man, so-called East Indian man, so-called Chinese, Japanese, so-called African, but not Africans, okay, African man, how they all been treating the sons of God, man. The Heavenly Father and the Son are highly displeased, man. Okay? The whole world wants to show an image of the sons of God. Again, the sons of God, we look like the heavens, man. A heavy statement, the other Kazakh Mississippi said, the true standard of beauty in the heavens, man. Dark melanated skin, woolly hair, beards, and afros. That's the true standard of beauty in the heavens. That's what the Heavenly Father, who governs the entire creation, through his Son, how Shai, how they both look. That's how the angels look. And the whole earth has shit on that image, man. We know why, it's part of prophecy. But very soon the world's going to be woke up to the truth. You see this. You got 2 grown-ass men right here. He's trying to take down this one Jake, and he's just the fucking handling them, man. And the craziest part is, he's literally trying to do it non-lethally. Because literally, that's why in all these different situations with these cops, they'll willingly be lethal. They'll easily pull out their gun and just shoot Jake to death. And that's part of the reason why you see this video, because they don't. Jake can fucking handle them. And we talk about when Esau hatred for Jake, which he does, of course, he be using that as an excuse, I fear for my life. Hey, but sometimes Edomites really be fearing for their life. Because these Edomite men, they know that we're stronger than them, man. Jake, not only Jake is bigger and stronger than them, Jake is faster than them too. But then he ran away, and they can't even catch up to him. Alright? But you see, here is 2 grown-ass Edomite men getting handled by one Israelite man. And I said, the problem making the fact that when Jake deal with these cops, they know they're not going to get off on putting one of these Edomite cops to death. So what they do is they try to do it non-lethally, and they still get away. Imagine that Jake had intent to kill these dudes, man. He could have easily did it. This is what we're reading about. 1 nation shall be stronger than the other, man. So again, you see this adds on how the hell is this inferior being, these 2 inferior beings, how is his nation on top of us? How are they ruling and controlling the earth? Well, the Lord set them up. As a punishment to us, the Lord set up servants over us, man. We did that. 12 or 10? 1 or 2. We'll get it, Lord willing. No, 10. This is Ecclesiastes 10:7. I have seen servants upon horses. So he's seen servants, the heathen nations, the heathen men in positions of power. But building a horse represents power, man. All right. He's seen these heathen men. Or and literally, you get the actual statue. The statue of Theodore Roosevelt, literally right on it. That's a spiritual statue. Literally, got the Edomite man on the horse with the Northern Kingdom. Okay, so-called Native Americans, Gad Reuben. Okay, on one side in chains, and then the so-called black man, the Judite man, on the other side of him in chains. But that statue got taken down at the time of around 2019, 2020, when all that COVID shit and all the different things was going on, the George Floyd protests, all that shit, right? But that statue is this verse right here. Ecclesiastes 10:7. You see, a servant is the so-called white man is a servant, man. You just read it in Genesis 25. The elders gonna serve the younger, right? He's a servant. He's a slave who's in a temporary position of power as a punishment to the sons of God. Because the sons of God, they didn't want to bow down and obey the heavenly Father. He said what? He said he allowed our servants to rule over us. Okay. It says again, I've seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. You see, so the real princes, the real sons of God, were walking around as servants upon the earth, and people actually think we're servants. They actually treat us like shit and talk down upon us. They actually think this position we're supposed to be in. But at the same time, they know in the back of their mind or spirit that we're not supposed to be here. That's why everyone has a fear of Israelite men with confidence. The Israelite men with confidence, especially the confidence in how about Shem Shai, it makes everybody afraid, man. It's not laughing matter. They try to downplay it and laugh it off, and it gets serious, man. Especially when there's multiple Israelite men on one accord. That's why these brothers are so afraid watching the brothers in the camps, man. All right, seeing Israelite men on the same accord, not fighting each other and focus on the real enemy. Nobody likes that. It is like women don't like to see that. Esau don't like to see it. All the heathen men they don't like to see it. All right, let's say like again we see. All right, let me get this Joshua, because we'll ride this back up. There's nothing nobody can do, man. As I said, we don't care. I said, okay, I came out our camp again Saturday. We don't give a fuck. We don't care. We don't care what you have to say. You're not gonna take this away from us, man. You don't have the power to. Okay, we'll stay like as it's written in Wisdom of Solomon the 5th chapter. We're standing in great boldness, man. We don't give a fuck what Esau want to do. And at this point, we're telling the nigga hurry up. But we know if he's gonna try to round us up. Okay, the Lord gonna show him true power in that day when he tries to round brothers up and start putting brothers to death, man. How about Shai gonna raise brothers up with power? Joshua 23:10. It says, one man of you shall chase 1,000. And you know, like I started. This is Joshua 23:8. It says, but cleave unto Yahweh your God as ye have done unto this day. That's what we're doing. We're cleaving unto Yahweh Bashim Shai, right? For Yahweh Bashim Shai have driven out from before you great nations and strong. But as for you, no man has been able to stand before you unto this day. One man of you shall chase 1,000. For Yahweh Bashim Shai, your power, your God, he is that fighting for you as he had promised you, right? So again, it's like an ancient world. You know, Joshua was going to take the promised land, and many times after that, when we was on one accord with Yahweh Bashim Shai, he would make sure we win the battles, man. All right? We would go into battle and leave with no casualties because the Lord was with us. Literally, we would go through the time of Joshua. And that wicked Israelite would take the Babylonian garment, even though he wasn't supposed to. The Lord surely told us not to take any of the spoil. He did it anyway. I think, how many was it? It was a couple of Jacob got put to death. I think like 15. I could be wrong with the number. There was a certain amount of Jacob got put to death. Jacob really retreated because it was a shock. Like, you understand how when the Lord is on our side, how this unfuckwittable, okay, making that word up, it's how unfuckwittable we are. That if we see any casualties, we immediately just flee because we know the Lord's not with us, man. All right, it's such a profound thing. See, you saw the Lord. It's normal to take casualties. It's normal for some people. When you go to war, even if you win, not everybody's coming back. But when the Lord's with us so much, like you just read, said, one man of you shall chase 1,000. Means what to put the flight to put to death. One of you, wait, if it's 10 of y'all, 1,000 apiece. That's going to be 10,000. There's 10 sons of God. You slay 10,000 heathen men. So we took even one casualty. It was like a shock. It was like a what? A panic. We won't take no casualties, man. All right, so this is the power coming back returning to. That's why again, you brothers got to stand in great boldness, man. Like I said, I started on a spiritual clip. We always bring up that example. You saw these cops, he was so shook of Jake. I said, that's why we're stronger than them, man. Like I said, Jake was doing it now. Jake was trying to get away. Imagine he was planning on taking their life, and they could have easily did it. Again, we're in this little state with these loser doubles, these loser Edomites ruling over us. Because why? Because we sin against the Lord. Again, we're in the time of Lord having mercy upon the sons of God. Okay, and you know what? Let me get this 1 second. Yeah, I'll pull the app up. I'll get this in the pocket for Tobit 13, one of my favorite chapters. This is Tobit 13, and this is Tobit 13:9. It says, O Jerusalem, the holy city, he will scourge thee for thy sons' works. So we're children who's done them sons, you know that. It says, O Jerusalem, the holy city, he will scourge thee for thy sons' works, and will have mercy again on the sons of the righteous. So the Lord's going to have mercy again on the sons of the righteous, man. Okay? So the Lord will edify. Give our praise on the glory. How about Shimon Shai, by Shimon Kapadash, Yelbon to the Apostle Great Millstone, Shalom to the Hopeful Lake, and the Battle Ball, Kwame Yashua Salawam.
This is right now. This is not Maui. This is Washington. It's crazy how all these trees are standing, but the revs of the cars are melting. We've seen this before, but just wait until I show you what the news was saying not too long ago.
Car
so
fire.
60,000 people evacuated. 600 buildings burned down so far. It looks like the apocalypse over there. I mean, it's everything. We also know there's fires happening all over the world right now. So I'm going to throw some stuff up on the screen for you to look at with me. We have this picture right here of these revs melting and trees standing right beside. Now, we've already gone over all this and certain temperatures and stuff. I think everyone's caught up to speed now. Now, in the United States, we've already seen over 1,000 wildfires this year. And again, this is something recent, the last year or two, because we didn't usually see fires this extreme all the time, every day, every week. 5 years ago. But completely unrelated, the news actually posted a crazy story I think we should look at. It's completely unrelated to all this fire right now. But real quick, right before we get into that, we are doing a giveaway to talk a bunch of other stuff, and it's free to enter the raffle. So if you want information about this giveaway or this picture of raffle, just comment raffle in the comments, and I'll reply with a link telling you more information. You can also find information about our music book club where I'm taking photocopies of antique books and sending it to you physically every month. Okay, now check this out. This is insane. You remember when they used to say that this thing right behind me was just some kind of theory, you know? Well, check this out. By the way, again, it's completely unrelated, not relevant, totally different subject than what's happening in Washington right now.
So a live demonstration of directed energy weapons. He says the Pentagon intends to buy tens to hundreds of these in the coming years. It's the first known viewing of a directed energy weapon demonstration by a sitting war secretary. So what are they? Directed energy weapons fire concentrated energy at the speed of light, and for years, intelligence officials working abroad have reported brain injuries known as Havana syndrome. The condition could be linked to directed energy weapons. Earlier this week, we spoke to Emmy Award-winning investigative journalist.
Oh, it's like Mountain Dew. That's pretty insane, is it not? Because they told us that whole thing didn't exist, and now they're putting it on the news. I wonder why, by the way. And also completely unrelated, again, not relevant to what's happening right now. They actually just in Washington blocked a new data center just recently. Not relevant.
Washington's governor is declaring a statewide wildfire emergency. This comes as the catastrophic wildfires rage across parts of Spokane. Late this afternoon, we learned anywhere from 700 to 1,100 structures are destroyed, and around 67,000 people are evacuated. Our sister station, Crime 2 in Spokane, has the latest and look at the destruction left behind.
We managed to get viewer video sent in by Lon Neal as he escaped the Old Trails fire. You can see active flames burning multiple homes as he tries to leave. As he drove to find safety, he managed to see large plumes of smoke and active flames across many trees and strong winds pushing the fires closer and closer to these neighborhoods. Amanda Hunter also shared video she recorded of the Autumn Lane fire near Indian Trail. You can see some of the destruction left behind, as well as retardant that was dropped, as some folks were able to get a closer look of the devastation. You can also see them drive by firefighters continuing to respond. Spokane Valley firefighters shared photos of the Fairview fire. You can see them actively trying to put out flames coming up trees and fields all across multiple structures. For the Autumn Lane fire, Stevens County Fire District 1 sent images of crews responding to the fire as it continues to move. You can see backyards burning up hillsides towards people's homes. You're receiving a lot of your video of the destruction. We encourage anyone who is able to contact us at 509-448-2000 to share those images and videos as the community works to get through this. Connor McAvoy, Crime 2 News.
So there you have it, direct energy weapons being used today. But of course, like everything else, though, you know, Trump's bragging about the spoils of war. Venezuelan oil is the victor's spoils. We are doing the same in Iran. I mean, he is boasting that he's winning the war in Iran once again. The U.S. President said appearing to link military operations to control of oil resources. U.S. President Trump halted Venezuela oil as the spoils of war in a stark contrast to his earlier portrayal of the January operation at Caracas. Speaking in Las Vegas on Wednesday, Trump claimed that billions and billions of barrels of oil are coming out of Venezuela, describing it as one of the most fertile places for oil in the world. Venezuela holds the world's largest proven oil reserves, surpassing Saudi Arabia and Iran, despite years of sanction and underinvestment. It's the old-fashioned way to the victor belong the spoils, Trump said. He then extended the comparison to Iran, saying, and we are going to do the same to the lovely Islamic Republic of Iran. We're going to knock the hell out of them. So, back to his taunts, right? You know, but yet he's still a paper tiger. And so, like everything else, though, ushering in the new world order and new central bank digital currency. You know, Putin legalizes crypto in Russia. What you need to know, Presidents authorize a regulated digital currency, so government regulated, while keeping a ban on domestic payments. So pretty much so, they control what you can and cannot spend. Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a landmark law legalizing cryptocurrency trading, which will be regulated as part of the country's financial system. The law on digital currencies and digital rights, signed and published on Tuesday, formalizes an already booming market. According to blockchain analytics firm, Russia ranks as Europe's largest crypto market by transaction. This legislation is part of the government's broader effort to bring crypto activity out of the shadow economy. And while facilitating cross-border trade with Ukraine, related sanctions severely restricted Russia's access to the West dollar and euro-based system. Well, pretty much, as you know, it's all digital, and so another brother breaking this down. Crypto legislation leading to the mark of the beast. The market of the beast, you could say. The market. That's an interesting way to put it. All right. So here we are. The marketing scheme, cryptocurrency, right?
Without raising Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Shadi, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the elders, GMS, also salutations to the Akim out there, which is true, and also shalom to the rest of the whole elect. I'm going to open up with this Psalms 33 and 10. It says, the Lord bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. The counsel of the Lord standeth forever, the thoughts of his heart to all generations. So at the end of the day, whatever these heathens are plotting, whatever they plan on doing, okay, it's all going to end up in fire, all right, once Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai come back on his second return, all right? So they can plan these different things like this right here I was going through. This is the list of countries that pass crypto legislation, right? Now, all right, the point I want to make with this, you pay attention to the things, that's going on in the world, right? With these different countries, all these countries have these different agreements, but everyone agrees to transfer over to this new digital system, right? Right now, all the major financial, I just say companies, right? Like BlackRock. There's another individual, right? If you know who BlackRock is, they control, a lot of real estate, a lot of stocks, which honestly I think they're nothing but Rothschilds, or something that the Rothschilds use to control their portfolio, the American portfolio, But anyways, I lost my train of thought. Right, like I was saying, they all agree to this, okay? It says, let's name some of these countries, right? It says, El Salvador. Matter of fact, let's read this place. A dozen countries, major economic zones, have passed specific legislations to regulate, license, and give legal status to cryptocurrencies. Prominent examples include, right? So, look, everybody's ready to go to this B system, man, right? Look at this: El Salvador, Central African Republic, European Union, Brazil, Japan, Singapore, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia, and there's plenty of other countries too that they didn't name, right? But everyone is waiting on this Clarity Act, all right? Matter of fact, let's look that up real quick. Hold on. All right, hold on. Let's put in Clarity Act. All right, a lot of people is calling for it. See, a bunch of stuff on it. See, here we go right here. Congress is supposed to be voting on it. Right, and this Clarity Act is going to put you into digital slavery, all right, online slavery, man, right, like it says in the scriptures, that you may not be able to buy and sell, all right, or whatever money you have in the bank, right, they're going to change it over. So if you got $500, all right, you might end up with $500 of RLUSD or other different stable coins, right? But if you know anything, you can buy other coins like XRP, XLM, all these different coins that the elites is going to use for their new financial system. HBAR, that's another one, right? XDC, that's another one, right? Right, so as you can see, it says introduce, pass House now. They're trying to get it to the Senate, right? And then once they get it out the Senate, right, they're going to have to get it to the president, right? He goes to the president desk and he signs off on it, right? But let's see, let's go to AI. See how they explain the Clarity Act. It says the term Clarity Act most prominently refers to two major pieces of legislation depending on the country. The current U.S. Digital Asset Market Clarity Act 2025 aimed at cryptocurrencies regulation, or Canada's historic Clarity Act 2000. It says the Digital Asset Clarity Act is a highly consequential piece of U.S. legislation designed to create a comprehensive federal framework for cryptocurrency. Its core objective is to replace regulation by enforcement and approach to clear, hard statutory rules, right? And that's what they give you to send. The bill is currently at critical crossroads, and it's all a dog and pony show too. The world is a stage, like I quoted earlier, right? And one of the big things you can see right here, right? They don't want Trump in it. That's why it's being held up. Well, so-called don't want Trump in it, right? This Trump also has another coin called World Liberty Financial. This right here, the Trump one, when it first started off, I think it might have started off like at $2 or $3, maybe it jumped to about $30. Then they crashed it crashed like 95%. So they scared off a lot of people's money, right? And that's the point of putting in the Clarity Act too, right? And then another big thing, it was the stable and yield prohibitions, right? They didn't want anybody to be able to make money. What do you call it? Oh, here you go right here, yield, right? Or interest off your money, interest or yield. but now they're in on it. Like I said, one big dog and pony show, but now they're in on it, right? Because guess what? They're going to be able to control you. They can control your money right now, but they're really going to be able to control your money. You won't be able to get to your money physically, right? Right now, you can go in some banks and get the amount of money you want, but with this, you won't be able to get nothing. It's all going to be digital. And if you don't comply or whatever, or you don't have a good social credit score, guess what? You won't be able to spend your money with your crypto, right? Matter of fact, another thing, Elon Musk even made a statement. They said money won't be really a thing anymore. We're not even people even working, all right? Because they're going to, I forgot what they called it, all right? But basically, they'll have a certain amount of money what they give you, right? And that'll be it. You have to make that last, for that month, to the next month. And the robots and AI have your jobs and shit, Anyways, this is a clear act. Another thing, and like I said, everybody is waiting on that, all right? Even though these other countries have their own legislation, they really can't do nothing, all right, without America being in the forefront. And that's why it says this in the book of Revelations. Let's look at Revelations real quick. Where we at? 13. Hold on. No, that's what it said. Wonder after the beast, right? Showing you this is Babylon the Great. And I saw one of the heads that were wounded to death, and his daily wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. You see, so they're not gonna do nothing, all right, or really make any moves, especially when it comes to financial things, unless America pull the plug on it, or put in or sign legislation or paperwork, That's why I'm showing you, even with with the terrorists when Trump got in office, right? Everyone was suffering, because everything works through the beast. This is the ruling country. This is to the Lord set up to rule that, But let's grab one more scripture real quick. Go to Psalms. Psalms 2:1 says, "Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?" What will be the vain thing? Them setting up their new world order. All right. Scripture speaks about Simon, I think it's Isaiah 10, real quick. Right? Isaiah 10:1, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievousness, which they have prescribed, to turn aside from judgment and take away from the poor." Right? And nothing, they don't take your money, man. On your 401ks, right? In your next crash, so you won't be able to probably even get to it. All right? It might tell you your social credit score ain't good enough, and this is money that you work for. It says, "Take away the right from the poor, and my people." It says that the widows may be a prey, that they may rob the fatherless. But let's go back up to 1. "Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievousness, which they have prescribed." And another thing why it's going to be grievous is the average individual, right? They don't know nothing about digital assets. They don't know nothing about those things, man. All right? They even gave the banks time to figure out how to, control it, work, when this thing was first being put into place during the Genius Act. The Genius Act is another bill too that they passed for crypto. Okay, and that's when the banks really started, got coming in, So let's go to Psalms. Go back to Psalms 2. Right? It says, "Why do the heathen rage, and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. And he that sitteth in heaven shall laugh, and the Lord shall have them in the rich and righteous." This is their plan, all right? With everybody into digital slavery, right? Kill off Israel or get people to take the chip. Because really, that's what it's ultimately is leading to. It is the market of beast, the MOTB, all right? Anyways, man, I hope you was edified. Hope you're paying attention to what's going on in these last days. Shalom.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening, see? Digital dollar, right? And you already know that that's the infrastructure to the MOTB, as the brother put it, man. And, of course, you have World War III, spilling over, Not the finalization of World War III, but all the players getting lined up, right? Iran says deal with Oman close, but it doesn't mean the strait will be open to all traffic, meaning that the U.S. has no say-so in there. If certain third parties do not obstruct the process, the two countries are also in the final stage of reviewing and drafting a joint statement covering the main points of agreement. Spokesman ML Baghdadi said the agreement cannot in itself be interpreted as meaning the strait has become safe for passing vessels, since restrictions on the waterway have been imposed due to U.S. military aggression and the U.S. blockade against Iranian ports remain in effect. So, pretty much so. Yeah, it's open to the rest of the world, but not that. Then you got this spilling over, right? Yemen war reignites as Houthis intensify Saudi shipping attacks. Ground assault with Hormuz deal closed. Yesterday witnessed at least the 8th Saudi oil tanker attacked by the Houthis since the maritime blockade began on the 22nd of July, which, following reports, a Yemeni rebel group backed by Iran could be preparing for all-out war against Saudi Arabia. Well, who initiated the war? And they always say Iran back. Just because they're allies doesn't mean that Iran is necessarily in this war. But it is a third world war, so you have that part of it too. A group struck 2 Saudi tankers in the Red Sea on Wednesday and coupled with action with a threat to intensify attacks in order to close all access routes. A second oil tanker identified as Daisy was subsequently hit in the Gulf of Aden with a ballistic missile and forced to turn back. The spokesman said in a social media post the Houthis are dubbing it a blockade for blockade strategy. So, they wanted a war with them, and they got it, because they listened to Donald Trump. Trump said he'd rather make deal than kill people amid reports of weapons shortages, which he totally denies. DC denies report the president confronted Pete Hegseth over critical shortage of munitions during conflict. So they're in denial about it, because, they have the greatest Navy in the world, they're the greatest country in the world, blah, blah, blah. You know how Trump speaks. U.S. President Trump said on Wednesday evening that D.C. is holding talks with Iran and would prefer an agreement rather than further military action against the country. Speaking during an event in Las Vegas, Trump said that the U.S. had been preparing to launch what he described as the biggest attack since World War II before Iranian officials asked for negotiations. I'd rather make a deal with Iran because I don't want to kill people. Yeah, right. You bombed a school and you said it was fun. Like anybody... fucking believes a word you say anyways. Oman Hormuz route agreed to as Iran warns against U.S. interference. So there you go. Any illegal routes, or anything trying to hinder it. Iran says Hormuz route is agreed. Tehran says it finalized a shipping route with Oman, blaming the U.S. actions for delaying the final agreement. Iranian officials say the deal would lock in Iran's wartime gains and strategic leverage over Hormuz. The mixed message, Trump says a deal could come within days while Iran insists the talks are only with Oman. Yeah, but, Trump likes to take credit for things that he never does. Iraq-Syria pipeline to bypass Hormuz could be revived within 3 years. Well, who's going to need it then? They're going to run out way before 3 years. An old Iraq to Syria oil pipeline that bypasses the strait could be up and running within 3 years, senior Syrian officials said. Hormuz crisis cut off Iraq's crude oil exports has accelerated plans by Iraq and Syria to rebuild a damaged oil pipeline to ship crude oil from the Iraqi fields in Kirkuk to Syria's Mediterranean coast. The completion of the renovation of the pipeline from Haditha in Iraq to the Syrian port of Banyas would take 3 years at most. So, yeah, good luck with that. It's going to take a while. It's not going to solve the problems that are going on now. Why Israeli state keeps striking Gaza despite the U.S. brokered ceasefire. King Bibi rejected the border peace roadmap, ruling out an IDF withdrawal from the enclave. Well, like everything else, though, the Israeli state doesn't answer to the U.S. The U.S. answers to the Israeli state. Israeli state continued its military operations against Gaza, intensifying strikes since President Trump announced a historic agreement to implement the next phase of the ceasefire. Dozens of Palestinians, including women and children, have been killed in recent days. Although Hamas accepted the proposal, Israeli Prime Minister ruled it out, withdrawing from the enclave. Well, like everything else, though. Of course they did, because, remember, the U.S. answers to King Bibi, not the other way around. Not our draft. King Bibi rejects Trump's historic Gaza disarmament agreement. King Bibi said occupation forces to remain in Gaza until the Palestinian resistance is completely dismantled and disarmed. You know, so they're not relinquishing anything. You can't trust anything, but this is what he said.
אני עומד איתן על האינטרסים הביטחוניים שלנו. אנחנו לא נסוג.
It's not in English. Fuck him. Anyhow, you get the idea though. Israeli state plans to build 2,300 illegal settlement units in East Jerusalem. Well, of course. I mean, they're just taking everything. And you don't think that they're not doing this, that the Spokane fires, direct energy weapons, that they're not building the prison system. 15-minute cities. Yeah, watch IDF take over and enforce that. Because that's why the draft in 3 weeks, man, can't reiterate that enough, right? Israeli authorities plan to build 2,300 new housing units to expand the illegal Gilo settlement built on Palestinian land in southwestern East Jerusalem, as Israeli non-profit organization focused on affairs in Jerusalem said Wednesday. This plan calls for construction on Palestinian land confiscated under Israeli absences property law, it said. So there you go, foreclosing on property and just taking over. The Israeli movement estimates that there will be approximately 500,000 new terrorists in the West Bank, in addition to about 250,000 others in East Jerusalem. So about 750,000 of them fuckers taking over, man. These goddamn fucking gutter rats. So that leads me to the last bit of scriptures in the NLT. Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, O heavens, and you who live in the heavens, rejoice, meaning that you're occupying this truth and looking for the kingdom to come. The terror will come on the earth and the sea, for the devil has come down to you in great anger, knowing that he has little time, to usher in the new world order. And like everything else, though, he's going to try to go after the elect of us, as verse 13 gets into. And when the dragon realized that he had been thrown down to the earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. So he's coming after us Israelites, with great wrath. And that's why Trump is where he is. The reincarnate of Nero Caesar. And the number of his name is 636. So that's not even a coincidence that he's bringing in the cryptos and everything else, leading to the MOTB, which will be mandated. And he already signed everything over to the Israelis, so they're going to be the ones over here enforcing it. IDF. So a lot of shit's about to take place, and you can see they're already using direct energy weapons to usher in those 15-minute cities where you will not be able to buy or sell, save you that has the mark, And so, hopefully, all this has been edifying. For everyone to say, Braka the Yahweh, Braka the Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Wa Abba Babal. Brakatam, Jehovah Olek, Shalom.